It is hour number 2. The voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart, will join us momentarily, brought to you by Craneworks. Hitting on a couple of the headlines at this hour, Ty Simpson is declaring for the NFL draft. So now Kalen DeBoer will actually have quarterbacks in his quarterback room that he recruited for that offense. So it'll be the first time that has happened in his short tenure at the University of Alabama. Meanwhile, Auburn got an offensive tackle out of the transfer portal from Michigan State about 20 minutes ago. And there's some rumors out there, Landrum, about the potential of Deuce Knight. What's the latest with him?
Yes, and this is coming from our friends at On3 at Auburn Sports, and Justin Hokanson reporting that he is still hearing that Auburn has a chance of getting one Deuce Knight. And Justin goes on to say that multiple sources indicate Knight is being offered more at Ole Miss, but Knight is clearly thinking hard about where he wants to be. He's even had conversations with Auburn representatives as recently as yesterday. Also on Auburn defensive back Kayan Lee, Auburn has continued to have conversations, but there is speculation that he could be committing to Ohio State today.
Okay, so we'll keep our eyes on that. We've been telling you about the price for quarterback. What would it cost to get a top-notch quarterback out of the transfer portal? Well, Brendan Sorsby, he was the big name. He was the big one that Texas Tech was able to land for reportedly $5 million. Well, Ross Dellinger from Yahoo Sports, he posted something about 20 minutes ago. He has gotten himself documents from LSU in which it points out the picture of what LSU was willing to pay Brendan Sorsby. Because you remember Sorsby went on a visit to LSU, and then he decided that he was going to take the money and run there to Texas Tech for $5 million. Well, according to Ross Dellinger, in these documents that he has come across, LSU had proposed to Brendan Sorsby a payment of $3.5 million to be the starting quarterback for the LSU Bengal Tigers. And it's also interesting because if you read over the documents, it appears that schools are now using corporate sponsors to exceed the cap that you hear us talking about all the time, which is $20.5 million for a roster. So they're basically making lucrative promises to these kids. It needs to go through a clearinghouse. Remember, there is a clearinghouse.
Right.
And if a clearinghouse says timeout, that's BS. Like, we're not approving that. That's what everybody has agreed to, this clearinghouse. But everybody is assuming once these deals get cut that it's done. And this particular deal, obviously, with Texas Tech and Sorsby, I don't know if it's gone through the proper channels yet, but this is what you're looking at with these documents of now corporate sponsors are pretty much backfilling these deals where I guess the school can technically say, hey,
we're going to give you $3.5 that goes towards our $20.5 million cap. But on top of that, Acme, whatever, is going to kick in an extra $1 million for this season.
Right.
But that doesn't go against our total.
Doesn't go against the cap. There's always a way.
There's always a way, and college football coaches are the best at it.
Mm-hmm.
They've been figuring out ways and gray areas around rules since the beginning of time.
So apparently LSU was going to use Playfly Sports Properties to help in paying Brendan Sorsby if he had gone to LSU. It says here that Playfly, they would engage the student athlete to provide certain promotional marketing and endorsement services utilizing their name, image, and likeness in connection with Playfly Sports and or the sponsor's rights, products, and services.
It's interesting where do these values come up, because I keep going back to the values and how they keep escalating every year. But LSU offering a guy like Sorsby $3.5 million, I would have thought, you know what, that's probably a really strong initial offer.
That's a strong ass offer.
Yes, as Will Wade once said, that's a strong ass offer. But little did they know that Texas Tech is actually setting the market in all of this.
Yes.
So is Texas Tech saying this is what the market is for this guy? Let's go ahead, because we are Texas Tech and we're kind of new to the game. Let's pay the extra $1 million over what we think market value is. It seems like that's what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. All right, got a big one in Nashville tonight as the Alabama Crimson Tide. They hit the road after the big win against the Kentucky Wildcats on Saturday. It's time to check in with the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart, brought to you by Craneworks.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, crane works, rental works, yeah, the big dog's got it.
Crimson Tide Network's Chris Stewart on Three Man Front is brought to you by Craneworks. Lift it, buy it, rent it. The big dog's got it. And now, Chris Stewart.
And Chris Stewart joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. I know you will be traveling soon up north on 65, getting to Nashville for a big one tonight against the Vanderbilt Commodores. But before we talk a little hoops, I want to get your final thoughts on what took place there in Pasadena. I was listening to you and Tyler Watts during the broadcast. I know that had to be a very tough third and fourth quarter during the broadcast.
Oh, it was not fun. Really you felt like you're in it and were in it until, the fumble. And when, to their credit, Indiana goes right down the field and puts that one on the board. It's like, okay, this is not trending well, obviously. And knowing that Indiana doesn't beat themselves, there just wasn't going to be a window to probably, in all likelihood, make a comeback. But definitely didn't see it sliding further south in that mix. Alabama, really good view for both. The trip to Fayetteville, losing to Arkansas, and then this one. And it was hopefully, it'll be that long of a gap or longer before you see anything like that again from an Alabama team. But it was disappointing, just on its own merit, but also disappointing to end the season that way, because there had been so much good that had happened after the Florida State loss to open the year, where there was, obviously people were down and disappointed, and that locker room was a bit rattled, but they were able to go back to work and get the taste out of their mouths. And then you win at Georgia, and it's a new look to the season, and you get to Atlanta, all that stuff, and into the playoff and win a game, and then it ends like that. So you bookended the year with two really tough ones and head scratchers at that. Look, nobody's happy about what happened in Atlanta against Georgia, but it wasn't shocking, and it was more understandable given the fact that you didn't have as much of your roster available or any more of your roster available than you did. This one was a tough pill to swallow, but still a lot to build on, and I think that's where you have to be able to take a deep breath. And, here we are a week later, and I think with the understanding of where things are in college football and the roster turnover and the way things change, people are focused on what's ahead and what that's going to look like. And you move on, because that's probably the best way to deal with it. Put it behind you, move on, and let's go find a way to get better. And we're picked to finish I think we're 8th in the preseason. That's where you finish. And a lot of good stuff happened, but there's still no question that the team's got to get better to be where we're all wanting it to be, and that starts with Kalen DeBoer and his staff.
Chris, we broke this matchup down at length, and we discussed it with you when you joined us. It's not like Indiana. We didn't know that Indiana was a disciplined football team that operated at a high rate of efficiency and technically sound. But from you being there at the Rose Bowl, calling that game, seeing that team in person, what was your biggest takeaway leaving Pasadena?
Just that they managed the situation. I had no doubt they were good. I wondered how they would manage the circumstances and being in that environment. And look, I know you can't judge something off of this fully, but I did not have a good feeling when they came running out of the tunnel and looked, talking about Indiana. They weren't overly hyped. They weren't jumping around going nuts. And I didn't think Alabama was either. So it's not a comparison of one or the other. I thought Indiana in the moment might get caught up in everything, and they look like they were running out there for week 2 against Ball State. I mean, they looked like they were ready to go to work, and they had been there before, even though they hadn't. And that's a credit to their staff and to their players for being locked in, because the regular season is one thing, the postseason's another. And to not have been there and to have gone as long as they did between games, I thought was a huge credit to all of them, that they were as focused and locked in and not caught up in the moment as it would have been easy to be.
Chris, it was reported this morning by ESPN that Ty Simpson has notified the coaches at Alabama that he will not return, that he is making himself eligible for the NFL draft. Just your thoughts on Ty Simpson. It goes 11-4 as the starting quarterback at Alabama, and obviously showed a great deal of toughness throughout the season, especially towards the back end of the season when there wasn't a running game and teams were starting to tee off on Ty Simpson.
I agree. First of all, I applaud a guy that sticks around in this day and age to work hard, wait his turn, and then make the most of it when he gets it. And I think clearly he did that. I'm happy for him that he's getting the opportunity. I'm happy we're not going to have to face him. We can always be Ty Simpson fans and pull for him and, be remembered as the guy that helped get us back to the college football playoff and the win at Oklahoma and some other great moments. The fourth down throw against Missouri, or we're not in that spot to play in the playoff, and just so many things that he did, and clearly well respected by his teammates, or he wouldn't have been named a captain at the start of the year. I thought he did a great job in a leadership role, in addition to just his individual play. And you're right. I would have liked to have seen what he truly could have been with a run game that was more of a threat. At the same time, and as much as I hope he's, going to start a tremendous pro career, I'm really excited to see what the next phase is going to look like at quarterback. And whether it's Austin Mack or Keelan Russell or a combination of the two, whatever that is, I'm excited to see what the offense looks like with a guy that was recruited by Kalen DeBoer to play in his offense, which is in no way a criticism of Ty. It's in no way a criticism of Jalen Milroe. But I really am excited to see what this will look like with a guy that he's recruited and identified as clearly being somebody that fits what he wants to do offensively. It doesn't matter how good they are if we don't run it better. I really believe that they will. I think it will be dramatically better, whether it's a combination of what happens with the offensive line or with more explosive personnel or healthy personnel next year. I think it's going to look better there, which is obviously going to help the quarterbacks. But I think next year will be a year where it's Coach DeBoer's offense fully in place, personnel-wise, in addition to scheme-wise. And, again, that's not a criticism of Ty at all. I'm a huge fan. I appreciate him as a person, in addition to what he did as a quarterback and the way he set the example of perseverance and patience and work ethic. But I think he's going to have a great chance to be a professional quarterback and successful. And at the same time, I also am excited to see what the offense will look like with one of the other guys that are on campus right now, and going forward. I want to see what that looks like.
Voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart, joining us courtesy of Craneworks and joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. From football, let's go to the hardwood. Tonight, Alabama taking on a very good Vanderbilt team in Nashville Memorial Gymnasium. Mark Byington, he has done a whale of a job since arriving there in Nashville, not only last season, but this season. As you look at the matchup, what can Alabama fans expect?
Well, they're going to get tested at a level they haven't been from a Vandy team, I think, in a while. Not that there hadn't been some good games, and they've brought some of the magic back to Memorial, but that tends to happen when you've got better players, and they've done a really good job with that. It's a team playing with a lot of confidence, and understandably so when you haven't been beaten. Now, they haven't played the full schedule that Alabama has, but very few in the country have. They have been tested, and I don't fault anybody. Look, I think you have to schedule to what your roster is. And when you're trying to identify who you are and what you are, you have to build some opportunities for growth and success in. Nate Oates knows that with where his team and his program are, they've got to go through some real tests and challenges, and they have, with only one or two exceptions. So, not a criticism of what Vandy's done. They're really good, and understandable that they would be held in the regard they are right now, and just in this matchup itself. But they're playing at a high level. Their roster is as talented as it's been in years, and this would be a fantastic win if Alabama is able to get it tonight there in Nashville.
That is the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart. You can hear him tonight on the broadcast against Vanderbilt. Chris, always excited to have you on, and it could not be possible without our great friends, David Upton, and the great people there at Craneworks.
Yep, they are terrific, and appreciate them and what they do, the way they do their job. It's the most trusted name for crane and equipment rental in the Southeast. They have been for over 30 years. They got a big range of cranes that are available from 2.5 tons to 500 tons. So literally they can manage any size job that you need done. They've got trained and certified operators making sure that job is done right as well. Regionally based, just like your audience is, and you can find them in Birmingham, Nashville, Mobile, and now in Huntsville as well. You can go online to learn more at craneworks.com.
Chris, have a safe trip. Have a great call tonight. We look forward to catching up with you next Wednesday.
Same here, guys. Appreciate you all very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Chris joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
A lot going on in the transfer portal. Oh, buckle up. We're going to tell you the latest next.
Appreciate Chris Stewart joining the program each and every Wednesday, brought to you by Craneworks. We'll go down to Duval. JP Shadrick's going to join the show at the bottom of the hour, and we're going to give you an update momentarily. Some big news coming out of the transfer portal for one of our local schools.
Well, flu season is here, so make your home healthier with Trane's Clean Effects Home
flu?
Air Cleaner.
You have a tickle in your nose?
But
What's going on?
I got a tickle. I got some sinuses.
What's going on?
But that's why you need to get a Trane.
That's right.
I'm going to
That's
spray
exactly
you with
why.
Lysol.
You don't want to sound like me. You don't want to sound like
Why does she
Abram.
keep coming in here if she's sick?
I don't know. I think she got me sick.
I don't have any time off.
Oh, there you
I
go.
think she's
you guys
the host.
won't let me out of here.
She's
It's
the carrier.
first time of the year. I mean, you got...
I sleep in my office every night because you guys won't let me leave.
Okay, go ahead. I'm
But
sorry.
anyway, it removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus. It's 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. So go and find a dealer near you at Trane.com. You don't want to get sick.
No, you
Like
don't.
me.
No.
It's not fun.
No.
And then she gets all of us sick. I was the only one for like 2 weeks. I mean, because Conrad had something going on. Molly had something going on. You hear Landrum still raspy.
My wife's got it too.
All right, so here is the big news. Alabama has just bolstered its defensive line, as this is a big one. USC standout transfer defensive lineman Devin Tompkins has committed to the University of Alabama. In 2 seasons, he's totaled 55 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, and 5 pass deflections. This young man, 6'5", 285, he comes to Alabama as a 4-star transfer prospect. He's rated as the number 3 defensive lineman currently in the transfer portal and the 32nd overall player. It's amazing because he signed as a 3-star product out of Stockton, California for USC. And if you do a check on him in regards to just his stature and him at practice and some of the videos that you see, you could tell real quick why he had lined up visits potentially at Auburn, Clemson, Georgia, and Ohio State. Those are big boys.
Mm-hmm.
That's who wanted him on campus, and Alabama was able to get him on campus first and was able to get him committed pretty quickly. So I think that's a big get for Kane Womack and the transfer portal. With all these defections from the Alabama defensive line, you could tell that their plan was to basically redo that group.
Yeah.
And they are doing that as we speak.
Well, in defensive line and offensive line, and you can never have enough of these
No,
guys.
not
And
at
he
all.
looks like he could be prominent
He
next year.
He looks good. Now, he might end up
Well,
playing,
sure.
playing him out, but
But and maybe he's not a starter, but he's a guy that can give you meaningful reps, or maybe he is a starter. But you mentioned the other schools that he had set visits to, and that tells you everything. Ohio State, you look at their defensive line, and
Yeah.
they like to get guys out of the South. Not necessarily always, but they really like to get guys out of the South. Clemson, their defensive line over the past, even this past season, that says enough. This guy obviously can play in the SEC, can play at a high level of college football. That's a big get for Kalen DeBoer and for Kane Womack.
and it's always in the eyes of the beholder.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here looking, and it's coming fast and furious about all these different schools grabbing guys out of the transfer portal. Just a couple of days ago, there was over 4,000 kids in the transfer portal, and you don't see this every day. But first off, Clemson has been slow to the table in regards to getting transfer portal guys. You know, that's been one of the criticisms that Clemson fans have had towards Dabo Swinney. He just got a kid, and I'm not
Just go ahead and say it.
I'm not disparaging this young man
Okay.
because I've never seen him play.
Right.
Obviously, Dabo and company, they see something that they like. But Clemson has just landed a commitment from former West Georgia standout defensive lineman Courtney Kelly.
Okay.
My point being, it's obviously a smaller school, but Clemson, just like any other school, I mean, they know what they like and don't get all caught up in the press clippings of where the kid come from or where he played, but he is a former West Georgia defensive lineman.
Seeing 6'3", 281, Columbus, Georgia product, played at Carver,
Okay.
which is a reputable high school football program there in the state of Georgia. Okay. You're right, though. That's interesting.
I just seeing someone from West Georgia going
Yeah.
to Clemson.
But that kind of fits what the limited amount of transfers we've seen going into Clemson. That it kind of fits. It's got to be a certain fit. Dabo's just not going to take anybody.
No. So
He's cleared out some of his staff, but he's not going to just – I don't see him compromising on the culture of that building.
No.
It's not going to happen. He'll walk away before he does that.
And talking about no one compromising, that's what they do at Abide Roofing, because they don't compromise on the materials they're going to put on your roof. They're not going to compromise their principles. They tell you something, they're going to follow through. And at Abide Roofing, they tailor roofing solutions for your every need, whether it's your family home or commercial building. They bring their A game for every single job they do. It's always safety first. They take care of their people. They take care of you around your house. And their work is built to last. No shortcuts, no compromises, only the best materials. Gives you the durability, weather resistance, and long-term value for your home. Over 25 years of trusted experience. And not to mention the fact that they are insurance claim masters. They helped me tremendously with my insurance claim, and I was able to get a brand new roof. Travis Lloyd and the guys, they're going to be able to take care of you just like they took care of me. Abide Roofing, 205-577-7338. That's 205-577-7338, or simply go to their website for more information at abideroof.com. That's ABIDE roof.com.
NFL playoffs starting up this weekend. Our buddy JP Shadrick joins us next.
Welcome back in. It's three-man front on this Wednesday. Pat Landrum, Molly Conrad back with us tomorrow. Starting tomorrow night, we've got 5 days of playoff football. First two nights will be the college football playoff semifinals, and then Wild Card Weekend will get underway Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night. And who better than to talk about the NFL playoffs? Good friend of ours from right here, right down the road off Highway 11 in Trussville, Alabama.
We grow great things here in the state of Alabama,
especially in Trussville.
JP Shadrick, just making us proud. Hey, JP.
Good morning, I guess, there, guys. How are you?
Yeah, what's for lunch there in Duval County? What you got on the docket for today?
You got to eat crumbs, okay? Nothing's happened yet. They haven't won anything. Can't eat the big steak yet. Haven't even got into the playoffs yet. They're in the playoffs, but they haven't played a game yet. So eat crumbs, be humble, and they're building towards Super Bowl 60. All
right, JP Shadrick, a senior reporter there for the Jacksonville Jags. You can follow his work, does an outstanding job. Not only cover the Jags, but you can also hear JP all over the place, all over the country on the weekends, even here on Jocks in regards to his college football play-by-play. But let's talk about the Jags. Captured their first AFC South title since 2022. Liam Cohen, needless to say, has just done an incredible job. As camp got broke in the early part of the fall, just your overall impressions of how you thought this team was going to look this season. Did they exceed your expectations? What did you think, JP?
I think there was a general consensus around here in the city that it's probably a 7 to 9 win team, middle of the pack, around 500. I mean, it's a new regime, totally new defensive scheme, new head coach, a lot of new pieces in free agency. They brought in Travis Hunter in the draft. What's that going to look like, And then that was kind of the feel out of camp. And then once the season got going, they won a couple games. They should have won again in Cincinnati early in the season, close game. So they're winning all these games early. And they kind of came back down to the middle of the pack again with a couple of tough losses to Seattle and to the LA Rams. That game was in London. Two really good teams, obviously, in the NFC West. And then there was the bye week, and that's really kind of when it turned because Travis Hunter hurt his knee in a practice coming out of the bye week. They had to go get Jacoby Myers in a trade mid-season, wide receiver. And then all of a sudden, Trevor Lawrence had confidence in guys he was throwing to consistently. And then they had a conversation that Trevor's got to let it rip more. The defense is taking the football away. That continued to build. So, I mean, to start the season, you would have thought it was an 8-9 win team. But as it's gone along, they've gotten better each week. They've found different ways to win. And now they're dominating teams in this 8-game win streak at the end of the regular season.
JP, what has struck you about Liam Cohen in his first year in leading this football team? Because I have been blown away. I never thought that he would have the success he's had early.
Well, let's start with this. It's the first time. This is my 6th head coach in 14 seasons. So
wow.
My goodness gracious.
And he is it's the first time that a coach has been younger than me. So that means a couple of things. That means, one, I'm getting older now. Yep. And two, there's a lot more youthful exuberance coming out of him. He's a very competitive, edgy competitor. That's what he is. And that carries over in front of a team. And that's the big question about a first-time head coach. Yeah, you might can dial up plays on offense for Tampa. But can you stand in front of a group of 60, 70 guys and command their attention and get them to follow you as the head coach? You just don't know until you try it. Oh, he's passed it with flying colors because there's no fake in him at all. He shoots you straight. He shoots players straight. He's a little closer to their age, so he can kind of relate to what they're going through and reasons why. And he just wants to dominate people. I mean, and he's really great in front of the media, but I think when that door closes, he's got a up to the line edge, maybe a little lean over the edge of wanting to dominate the team that they're game planning against. And that goes a long way. You set the tone with that as a head coach, all the other guys just fall right in place. He's been fantastic for this team.
I know that you're not in Detroit, but you just said that in kind of the mindset of a Liam Cohen. Are we talking about like a Dan Campbell type?
Yeah, he's not biting kneecaps, but there's something to be said for, you can't fake that either. I mean, that's just either you have that or you don't. And if you're faking it, you'll be found out in a second, and then you'll lose the whole team. So it's got to be genuine. It's got to come from the heart. and then you got to build on and adjust to certain things you may not do well. Like middle of the season, they adjusted a lot of things during the bye week on the offensive scheme, working with Trevor a little bit more on different things, and the defense had a full kind of reset around the bye week and changed the way they attack. So they're not stuck in their ways that this is my way or the highway. Hey, if it's something's not working or we can get a player to adjust and play in a different way, they can do that midseason on the fly. I mean, that's Liam Cohen in a nutshell.
I love the fact that he called out Sean Payton when Sean Payton talked about Jacksonville being a small market franchise. I mean, that was great.
He's had a couple incidents this year. So back in Jags went to San Francisco, and Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator, who used to be a Jaguars assistant back in the old days, said that, in his press conference that week that, the Jaguars do a great job of stealing signs, and, it's legal though, but they're doing signs steal. They're really good at it. So, of course, Liam takes that and runs with it. Team meetings, they're accusing us of stealing signs. It's so ridiculous. So, of course, Jaguars go out there and beat the hell out of them. And then after the game, they kind of walk by each other. Liam refuses to shake his hand, and then Saleh chirps at him. So Liam turns around and is coming back at him, like getting in his face. They have to separate him. So I think that actually scored some points with the team too. You know what? He's going to talk it and he's going to back it up, and we're going to go back up our coach. And then it happened again, of course, in Seattle. That may not have been like the biggest slight ever, but Liam Cohen, I don't know if he's scouring the internet, but I think he's probably his phone dings all day with people sending him perceived slights, real or not. And he uses them and uses it as fuel for the team and himself. Any little thing, if I were an opposing team right now, I would just keep my mouth shut like all week long, because they're going to take any little thing they find and run with it. Small market team. Oh, okay. Well, what does that really matter? Like, they're in the NFL.
Yeah.
But don't tell the team that. No, we're going to do this. These guys are disrespecting us. So that's been the edge of this team.
JP Shadrick joined us for a few more minutes. Jags senior reporter, a Birmingham native, grew up there in Trussville, Alabama, went to the University of Alabama. He joins us talking NFL playoffs and the Jags. Let's talk about the run defense for the Jags, because a lot of folks don't realize this, but the Jags are a league low, allowing, I think, around 86 yards per game, and you're going up against James Cook in a very formidable running attack by the Bills. Just talk to us about that matchup between Cook and the run defense for the Jags.
There's no doubt. I mean, that is strength on strength, and it's been consistent all year for the Jaguars. That was a big question going into the season, talking about coming out of training camp. Are they good enough on the interior of the D-line? Like, do they have depth there? Can they roll guys in, and can they stop the run? Because last season, which is a totally different era and scheme and coaching, they couldn't stop anybody from running the football. It was terrible, like 30th in the league. I mean, it was not a good day. But Devon Hamilton is a big key to that. The nose tackle is now 2 years back from a spinal injury that he had, an abscess that nearly ended his career. Not really a football injury, just happened during training camp a couple of years ago, and it's taken him another year to really get back to his pre-injury form. And he's out there and just stopping the middle. He's not really going to have a great impact in terms of statistics. He's not going to rush the passer. He's going to hold up two linemen and let everybody else work around him in the run game. Now, the depth behind him, you can argue, is not quite what they want yet, but so far he's been out there and doing it really well. Trayvon Walker, who is the first overall pick a few years ago at defensive end, he's a fantastic all-around defensive end. He's not a true pass rusher. Aiden Hutchinson, of course, was drafted right after him, so getting to the quarterback, they could do that a little bit more. But when you need to set an edge, this guy's a bully, and he just stones people, and that lets other people run around, linebackers too. Full team effort, and that front seven just gets after it. They are somewhat maniacal when it comes to the running game. I mean, they stopped Jonathan Taylor this year twice. I mean, it wasn't even a chance of him getting one. I got like 60, 70 yards both games. And they haven't allowed a running back to go over 75 this year, any of the games. So it is consistent. It's the lowest average allowed in Jaguars history in 31 years. So this is a test, man. I mean, it's not just the running back either now. Josh Allen can pull it out and run and scramble and do those things too. So it's a two-headed front this week, and that's kind of the first time this season they've been able to see that. But I think they'll have something for Cook. I would be stunned if he goes off like Derrick Henry and does something wild in this game.
JP, NFL is it's been a weird season for me, at least, in just watching, whether it's officiating, some of these games that we've got, the lack of scoring and some of the wild finishes, and it's been great. But as I look at this playoff field, I'm really, really excited, not only because of some of the familiar faces and coming back, but some of the new representation we're seeing. As you take a look at the entire playoff bracket, what are some of the more interesting storylines that you're really looking forward to, just as a NFL fan?
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are in Cancun right now. That's fantastic for everybody.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, you get those guys out of the way, and then you can kind of reassess and reset and see who's in there. I mean, honestly, the big story is Josh Allen. This is for the Bills. They've lost to Kansas City all those years, and you know what? They feel like this is his chance to make that run and finally get back to the Super Bowl for the first time since the early 90s, right? I mean, that they've been stopped so many times and right there on the edge. That's one thing I'm curious to see about. And in the NFC, like, can the Bears make a run in their first-year head coach and the quarterback in year two? That's an intriguing team right there. It really is. And then we saw the LA Rams firsthand in London, but that was a long time ago. It was like week 7. And you got a veteran quarterback, you got a veteran wide receiver, they got tight ends all over the field. Puka Nacua is the best receiver in football, and if they're on, that's a problem for everybody. So, you know, you always kind of look at the quarterbacks first. So Stafford, Josh Allen, I mean, honestly, Pittsburgh with the old man in there. So, like, do you really want to face him? I don't know, because he's going to cook something up for you and be a gamer and be there like he was the other night. So it's a really intriguing field because it is, especially in the AFC right now. I don't remember it being this wide open for anybody to go win in a long time. The Jaguars just went out to Denver a few weeks ago, the number 1 seed in Denver, and just dominated them.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. Like, everybody talks about how hard it is at Mile High and how good the defense is. They didn't do a damn thing out there. I mean, Jaguars handled that game. So knowing that Denver has the home field, okay, that's one thing to look ahead to. And the Jaguars haven't seen New England yet, but they're a younger group. You know, it's first year for Vrabel there. Can they handle all that pressure? Who handles the postseason pressure the best? That's the big storyline with all these new teams in here.
That is JP Shadrick, Jacksonville Jags senior reporter. First off, I miss our typical Christmas lunch when you're in town, but that means that the Jags aren't in the playoffs. So I didn't get a call or a text, and obviously knowing the Jags were in line for the playoffs, you and I did not get a chance to have our annual Christmas lunch. So
why don't you and Mr. Khan have us down?
Yeah, I wanted to get us on the Kismet. Can you do that?
Yeah,
we can have some stone crab.
We'll get the PJ up there and bring you guys down here. Yeah, I don't know. It might be mid-February, hopefully. I mean, that means that this team has made a run to Santa Clara and maybe bringing back some hardware. So let's not put the cart ahead of the horse, though. We still got some playoff games to go. But whenever the Jaguars are done, you can count on me giving you a call.
That sounds good.
JP, remember that game you did play-by-play for Alabama and Miami a few years ago? It was like 2021, and Jamison Williams took Atlanta. The slant forever. He had 126 yards in the game. I was just asking if you still remembered. Those were the days, right?
Those were the days when Alabama had joyless murder ball. You remember that?
Yeah. You know what? I did the Iron Bowl this year, and they actually made a drive in that game. You know, without the starting running back, and drove down the field and won the game. Imagine that. But,
that is nuts. Well, JP, listen, I know you guys down there, the town is a buzz, the county's a buzz. It should be a lot of fun this weekend with the Bills coming down. Enjoy it. Hopefully this is a first of a long playoff run for the Jags, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, JP.
Oh, it's going to be a scene down here. They're expecting 70,000, standing room only, going for 200 face value going in right now.
Oh, my goodness. That's big. JP, best brother. Well, Happy New Year. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, Happy New Year, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. That's JP Shadrick joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
More news out of the college football transfer portal. We will tell you what it is. Also, your phone calls as well. 3-Man Front on a Wednesday on Jocks.
You know, I love
Nick
the Eagles.
Saban loves this song.
Yes, I was going to say, I love the Eagles, one of my favorite groups of all time.
This is my favorite song.
And thinking of Nick Saban loving the Eagles, you know, he loved him some Tommy Rees.
This is Miss Terry's part.
Yes. So Tommy Rees is interviewing for the head coaching job at the Cleveland Browns today.
Yeah, I hope he gets a job.
I hope so, too. Maybe Nick can come run his defense because Nick Saban loved him some Tommy Rees.
Yeah.
Loved him.
And
In some circles, he wanted him to potentially be the head coach at Alabama.
he's highly thought of, not only in college circles, but apparently NFL circles as well.
Always great
Pulling
to
for
catch
you,
up
Tommy.
with, JP Shadrick, the Jags, man. They're a good football team.
Yeah,
Really
they
good. There is nothing that is by accident with that football team. So we'll see how they do this weekend against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I wonder how the Buffalo Bills will feel. I haven't even looked at the weather forecast. I assume that in Jacksonville it's going to be what, maybe in the 60s?